So since I don't keep secrets, we're going to discuss what the goings on of what happened really on honest, authentic ground, because some people involved were not even aware that they were involved, because that's how crazy this is. So as you have been told, everything is true that I've been saying. But some people were so brainwashed and so disempowered that they fell for it. And even as you watch me post on videos and I'm channeling God himself, it is hard for me to stay focused on grounded flooring, if that makes sense. So even though the person, well, I'll just say the name, Mona, even though Mona, I even changed her name on purpose, according to God. So God channels through me and makes me do and say things I do not want to do. But he also has his plan. So Mona was chosen by the Democratic Party to be the girl to attack. Just like everyone else, we all have our dreams and goals in mind. If you watch some of Mona's content, you'll actually even hear the underlining message that she's really sick and tired of standing next to Gary in a normal way, because they don't really get along in that respect. They want to go off and do their own thing because they're extremely different. Backpedaling or backtracking just a little bit. I can't remember what year it was, but Mona worked with Ryan, is it Harwood, on Pure Wow. Now, Ryan is married to a psycho, and Mona respected the relationship. Meaning they just were acquaintances in work environments, meaning a lot of this stuff didn't happen quite yet, hadn't evolved yet. I'm trying to take it slow because they're making up all kinds of different stories and crap. Now, part of this is that Mona got sucked into their dialogue of the machine. Now, as a key player in this Earth transformation, she had to play her role as she was supposed to play her role. Meaning, if Mona and myself were to have met on the streets prior to all of this, her and I would have been very, very good friends, and we would have created some fabulous community together. Having a dear friend from Turkey, I'm familiar with the culture, and she would have never have met anyone on the soil in America like me, because I also have Southern charm and I'm really fun. Not to mention we have a lot in common, like health and wellness, coffee cup readings, etc., etc. Now, just like any other human on the planet, there's a trajectory that you set. Meaning the pawn in the Democratic game was to take Gary out also. Now, it's hard, I'm really trying to stay it on it's really complicated because there's a lot at stake here, meaning breaking Gary Vaynerchuk and myself apart, taking out the NFT called VFriends, which is huge. And Mona just basically thinking she's signing a contract to stand next to this dude, and how hard could that possibly be? Meaning I'd never even met her prior to any of this. As she signed the contract, she basically signed her life away. Unbeknownst to her, because in her lifetime and in her training, it's not been good training. All ill-intended from her meditation practice that she's learned by teachers that she also trusted, by the LA community that basically bashed her into the ground. As you watched throughout this whole episode, you were to see how nobody came to her rescue, which also is a karmic completion for her. So she also had to karmically complete this from a previous life, since she was Cleopatra. In Moba Vand's content, you can even see subliminal messages. One particular video, she's standing at the refrigerator eating cassava chips. Also a demonstration of subliminal saying, "I'll eat you alive." Opening the refrigerator, pulling out coconuts, keyword nuts. All hidden messages to let her know that she's part of the uncover. However, if you are not coherent, because this is how the Democratic Party are working us, you miss the messages. And then it's a do or die situation for yourself. I'm just taking a look around. Having flipped Mona as intensely as I flipped her. Intensely, meaning you saw my face getting beat to a pulp. Meaning Mona's demon was attached, like, it was insane. It's insanity. But also definitely necessary in uncovering another aspect and perspective of what is going on an internal aspect of the circuit as being a woman in the operation who is completely brave as anyone else, like super brave. However, if God were to tell her in the beginning of what her job really was, just like he's done for me, meaning he only said I just had to sit there. That's it. He said, yeah, that's it. Because he knows if I would have known that this is what I was going to have to go through, then I probably would have said no. I probably would have said, okay, I'll do it. That's it. That's it, he said. But God, it keeps happening. So as we uncover her honest truth, being that she played a huge role in the uncover as she shares the authentic information about all those around who have mastermind manipulated each and every one of us. Meaning she don't want to hang out with those fools. Being brainwashed from the Democratic Party, being mind manipulated by all the rest of these fools out there at Fashion Week, drowning for some support for somewhere, knowing that she has to put out content to make it occur and appear as if her and Gary Vaynerchuk are together, even though they traveled to Turkey and she was like ready to get the hell out of there. She even posted a song that says, I don't know if I can handle 6 months more of this. Her true love being Ryan, who she got to know a little bit more in depth at the Cannes Festival. All purposeful actions to not only show awareness on the internet, but to create awareness in the game of what's going on, because Mona is a talent when it comes to this. And by her presence being there, a whole nother level and a whole nother experience of this foreign land psychosis rises up. Meaning she's good at showing herself in a certain light. But she sees things in a perspective that are quite honest and authentic.
These two say well. Thank you. High five from the...
So basically what I'm telling you is you had to do your karmic completion. You had to not know, because in the experience of the biggest stuff on the planet Earth, I don't even know. Like, I didn't know that this is where this was going to go. Because I'm not the type of person to be really that jealous. Like, if I 100% knew that the contract was signed and they were doing business deal, I would have just tolerated it until it was over. But we had to karmically complete for Mona. We had to karmically complete for Gary. We had to karmically complete for a lot of these different people. We had to stir up information for folks that were attached and being assisting Mona in her job. We had to teach them how to be stronger people, because I know what type of leader Mona was, because I used to have a business partner that was Turkish, German. Americans don't operate like that. And there's a miscommunication between one person and the next person where they miscommunicate and misfire. Plus you have vultures standing behind you, attacking you constantly. So there's a lot there in the relationship of her team. Plus you're competing with folks that are like posturing or whatever. Right? But like even worse than what she was doing. Right? Like way worse. But then also for her to be able to be that thing that's posturing, for her to evolve as a coach for someone else who's posturing. And so we can then, what you see in others is who you are or who you were. Meaning the next time someone comes to her in her coaching business, she will sniff that skunk out in an instant. So it was also a growth phase for her in her evolution on this planet to unearth the skunk, the dragon bitcoins, and all the other nasty stuff. Not to mention, she's in on the circuit, meaning she knows the inner workings of how they operate in the circuit, which is another like strategy. And by keeping it real, like keeping it the way it is, we were able to observe, dissect, and express. So we can pull it out from the bottom and then dissipate it out. And then what else do I want to say? Let's see. The energy, I feel like the energy is some her, but it's like the rise of the phoenix, because the demon was dark. It kept saying, "Who am I?" He wants me to tell you it's Beelzebub. Because Mona is all air. All air. So she may have experienced herself ill or sick. Like, I don't know, like you kind of feel like, I don't know why I feel like this. I just don't feel good. I'm like grumpy, blah, 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 whatever. So technically, it's always weird because I'm not really sure exactly who's doing what, but I just call out what's happening, and that's how I'm supposed to do it. Because like, the demon can attack. Let's see. The demon will show Mona's face and then be attacking me. Also, it keeps her in her safe zone because she didn't know about what was going on on my end. Meaning when she entered buildings where she was a part of the witchcraftery or whatever, she didn't have to act. It was authentic. It was completely authentic because she was trying to get me. But guess what? I kept telling them. I kept telling them. I kept telling them. I kept telling them. I kept saying, you will never beat me. You will never beat me. Now, that being said, why do you think she went in and did those things? It's because she was brainwashed and a demon was attached. So what you see is what you get, meaning she could only see what the demon was telling her was truthful because she was working in a space of unsafety, meaning she was able to take her meditation very deep by utilizing Joe Dispenza, irresponsible dude. He's an irresponsible meditation teacher. As she entered the spaces of meditation, she latched onto a demon unknowingly to her, thinking that it was her dream. Like it'll tell you all these things that you desire for yourself and stuff, and it takes logic out the window. You're like, oh yeah, that's really not very nice to do to some girl who's crying on the internet. Whereas the demon will say, she's a loser, she's a doo-doo, just destroy her, she is no good, she's so mean to you. And then it's like the battle. She thinks she's battling me as like a real jerk, but what she's really doing is battling God, but she becomes Beelzebub. So God is battling Beelzebub. And we're the hosts. I'm the host for God, and she's the host for Beelzebub. Also, purposeful in the fact that she went down that path through meditation. Meaning I had spirits come to me and tell me that I had to do this. This was sign language. Like for days, like a week. And I'm like, listen. It was Helen Keller, supposedly. I'm like, listen here. I'm like, God would not make me do this. And those are the moments that you have to catch yourself. You have to catch yourself in moments of saying, God would not have me do this. So this thing or this spirit idiot that's talking to me is not God, because sometimes you can't tell if it's God or someone else or some demon named Beelzebub. It came to me this morning. When did it come to me? It came to me, well, last night I did another super flip. I did a huge super flip. Now there's demons in all these folks. Some of them we're not even going to look at. Because they're like never going to look to God. So there was some spots there in, this didn't have to end up like this. So I didn't do much. I mean, I did a lot, but I didn't do much. She had to make some choices on the other side, meaning Gary must have been coaching her also. Which is how we were able to battle Beelzebub. I still feel like there's some stuff. See, what they want for all of us females is to constantly be in battle. It's a lot. But on that note, that is the story. Some of the story, I would say. Even right now, I do have a demon upon me. But I also know that right from wrong, like it's almost like right from wrong. Does that make sense? So I'm battling the demon. They're really annoying. Who am I battling? Who am I battling anyway? So sometimes you'll like battle the demon and then all of a sudden you got another demon on you. I'm like, what the hell, man? So even if you go out in public still, you're going to be taking on demons. And so you have to be, you're going to be grounded. You need to find what earth is. I'll show you who the demon is, I guess. Sometimes I pick up dead spirits too. Like I just went for a walk in the neighborhood. So there's so much to tell y'all. I swear, it's so crazy. I'll walk the neighborhood. Like my voice, how I know do I have a demon? And I can hear it in Mona's voice too, because it turns aggravating. And sometimes she's normal, and sometimes she just irks my nerves with her voice. Like it's like worse than nails on a chalkboard. I'll be walking this neighborhood. Now, this is Indian land over here. And my stomach will get punched, but it's like a demon entering the space, which could be considered a ghost. So have you ever seen Ghost, the movie, where Whoopi Goldberg picks up Patrick Swayze? And then he enters her body and starts talking? That would be this. This is Patrick. I love Patrick. And I can... I can handle it. Must be because I went on TikTok too. It could be that. I never know exactly where it comes from. I don't know. I thought me and Mona had a good time this morning. What else was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Why you wouldn't want to go to space, I don't know. Why you wouldn't want to be happy on this earth, I do not know. Democrats are responsible for all of it. You may have felt empowered earlier today because when I was walking also, I saw Trump flags all over my neighborhood. And then I opened TikTok. I flipped Mona again. I flipped her for like 10, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or something. Showing her things. I show you things. I can show you things. I can split off a demon. I can do a bunch of stuff. I feel like she came to me from the future. She came to me from the future while I was on my walk. And she's definitely bossy. Yeah, I think there was an alien ship that came because Pharrell was on stage. Would it be nice to be just like hanging out and chilling and stuff? I only have a few more minutes because I can only do a 30-minute video. Beelzebub. She's like, ugh. That's not how she does with Ryan. She probably said to herself, that's not what that's yucky. It's so weird. She probably really didn't enjoy herself at VCon either. Pulling it out or something. Anyway. Feels like it's a little bit more gone, so now it's over here. Whatever that was. Yes. Mm-hmm. Perfectly imperfect. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. Great job. No need to be a hermit, by the way. You should be running around the streets going, gotcha. Thank you, spirit guides, for saying, hey, we know this is not you, because that's kind of what happens. When you hit around 37-ish, 35, what are you, 36? People start, your life shifts. It's like you have less patience and tolerance for people because you've been so abused. At least in this lifetime. Because I've been there, girl. So her and I have been through some of the same things, like when she was on Shaws of Sunset. But they were also battling too. So everyone was battling everybody. They were just doing what everybody else was doing, not stepping outside of the box and living. They were all living LA, which is all made up. Not doing any real work to move their bullcrap. And that's where we got to here as you add in the internet with the psychotics called millennial Gen Zers, who then, what was I going to say? See how they mind manipulate me? Specifically talking to the Hype House crew. So then we've got intelligent doctors who spend time on videos. And then we've got 16-year-olds making millions of dollars. And the story just keeps on going. It's like, come on, people. Do you really think that I would work this hard on someone? Except for I really do love you, Gary. Probably would work that hard on you, but I would have been more patient and I would never have posted it unless he made me. Shit, I wanted to walk away like 15 times. I'm like, okay, fine. Anywho, I'm going to be posting this on the YouTube page. If you wanted to see a little bit in-depth detail of even your own Mona. Because this is some dark stuff and really powerful bitchs, okay? We ain't no run-of-the-mill nobodies who just do the woe. And that goes for you too, Charlie, who's been through hell and back. We badasses.